Hey, hello. What's going on, everybody? Today we're building this very black mobile suit here, Kampfer Schwer. What does Schwer mean? I'm sure it's something in German, and you guys can let me know what that means. Kampfer is also means something, I don't remember. Anyway. All right. Hello. Hey. What's going on, Ryan? Lorenz. Also here. Saku-chan's here. Jagan fan is here. Let's see. Supreme. Not gonna say the first part of that name. Kampfer, my beloved. Yes, German for dark. Schwer is dark. I'm sure I'm also pronouncing it incorrectly, but okay. Just got mine a few days ago. Looking forward. Yeah, just got mine a few days ago as well. And here we are. Tuesday, I think. Yeah. I wanted to get right to work on this because I was looking forward to it. Yeah. And hopefully you guys are too. We'll get into it. Thanks for the live build here. Kampfer, looking forward to it. Kampfer means fighter. Schwer, I think, means tank. Well, somebody was saying dark, which makes sense for the color scheme. So dark fighter. Very edgy name. It should have been Kampfer Amazing and MG. Yeah, I mean, maybe depending on the success of this kit, maybe we could see a Kampfer Amazing as well in the future. We'll see how well people like this kit, despite it being based on Kampfer 1.0 without any upgrades to like the frame, like we saw with the Dodge. In the case of the Dodge P-Bandai kit, it had upgrades to the frame itself, which gave us the 1.5 DOM later on. Clippin' Nubs, what's up? Watching over there on Twitch. What's going on, man? Jiku is here. David, I want an RG version of this so bad. Yeah, an RG like regular Kampfer maybe, but of this particular variant, I would say pretty unlikely. Although if we were going to have an RG Kampfer, we probably would get an RG Alex first, and getting an RG Alex, I mean, it's possible. We got a 2.0 MG, which, there's not that many of those out there. So somebody there at Bandai likes the Alex. And somebody there at Bandai did not like the Alex being the base for the Tristan, apparently. But all right. So we'll get into it. And yeah, I think, like the majority of the frame is all original. We have new parts for the armor. Let me just kind of look back. There's a couple of new frame parts, basically just to accommodate like some new parts of the armor, but not like with the Dom and the Dodge. You had like entirely new sections of the frame for like the hip joint, like the arms, like almost entirely new, shoulder joint and everything. What is this concoction on the bench? This is gonna be a pretty concoction. This is a black version of the Kampfer with some more kind of like angly armor. It's a Naoki design, so I mean, if kind of familiar with like Naoki's general aesthetic, and it seems like he's opted for full black, so he's going all edgy there. If you've seen like the Galehound just released his new Titanomakia kit from Kotobukiya, with Kotobukiya, it's his design, but yeah, his new series. What's this? Number 0. Thank you for the super chat there. That's anyway. You're so skibbity. You're so Phantom Tax. All right. Thank you. Appreciate it. No, I misspelled it. It's okay. They got these in the shop. I don't know. Adam and I both got our boxes of P-Bandai on the same day down there. Mine was just this. Adam's boxes was 5 of the Power Gym. So he said he couldn't remember if he'd ordered this one or not. So if he ordered some, there will be some in the storefront. Like if you're planning on stopping by, yeah, it's P-Bandai. Yeah, yeah. Which we don't sell like on the website, but we'll stock like some in the just like in the storefront. So if Adam ordered some, like the other day when this came in, he couldn't remember if he did or not. But if he did order some, then we might have some up in the storefront. I mean, but otherwise, P-Bandai. I think. Let's see. Do not forget about Gundam Evolution. Kampfer released in Evo today. Oh, okay. I did forget about that. I don't know. I don't play games. Do you think there's some other reason Bandai hasn't been making nearly as many MGs? Seems like we're getting one too. I mean, I made a whole a video on the topic, and aside from different reasons, I mean, there's a lot of different reasons, but I think primarily the most reason is that just MGs cost more to produce, and Bandai can just make more money faster off just making like smaller kits. Because think about it, for how expensive it is per runner, and an MG kit is, you know, just in the case of this kit, I don't know, without like going and counting it, let's just say a dozen runners. That's you know, a dozen machines that need to be going to be printing all these runners, whereas to make one kit, whereas if it's an HG, I mean, like 6 runners is probably like the max, like for a lot of HGs. So something like that, where you can put out 2 HG kits with the same amount of production as an MG kit. So like kind of with that in mind, I think that's probably the number one reason why we don't see more MG kits. It's unfortunate, but I mean, like, that's just Bandai's business decision. So I think, I mean, like, say what you will with complaints about Bandai, generally I think Bandai's a pretty good company as far as like huge companies go. I mean, there's not, how many like really big companies of the size of Bandai can you point to that you think are generally pretty good companies and don't really have like any like red flags, like bad things going on about them, or things that like you could say that you dislike? Obviously Bandai, I think they do have a decent amount of people there. I mean, like, obviously there's going to be a lot of people there just because of the size of the company. There's going to be a lot of people there who, you know, are not, they're not modelers. They're like, it's not one of those companies where it's like made for modelers by modelers kind of thing. It's a massive company. So I'm sure there's a lot of people there who are like really into modeling and really like love like the hobby and everything and like that. And like, that's the kind of people that you would want to have there. But at the same time, I'm sure there's lots of just like business people. But I think like generally it's a pretty good, I get the sense that it's a good mix of people who are like genuinely like, they have good intentions. But yeah, I mean, it's a company, so they've got to make business decisions, right? So you can kind of see that, it seems like, with some releases. Like, sometimes stuff is released and you can tell, like, or do you just kind of get the sense that nobody was really had their heart in the production of it, and then other things, like, you can tell they did. Still waiting on a Rosen Zulu reprint. Yeah, there's a bunch of reprints. Actually, we were just, Adam and I were just talking about this yesterday, and maybe we'll bring it up in a live stream tomorrow. We'll have a live stream tomorrow on the USA Gundam TV channel. Just a heads up for you guys. It's every other Friday, so tomorrow is the day. And maybe we'll bring it up tomorrow because we were just chatting about it yesterday. Actually, was that in the last couple of years, basically, Bandai has reprinted the same kits like a number of times, like especially when it comes to master grade kits, high grades as well. So there's like a bunch of kits that haven't been reprinted in quite a while, and Bandai, for whatever reason, seems like they just keep reprinting the same stuff over and over again. So it's another just kind of like Patrick's question about why they don't make more MGs. It's just another question, like, why do they keep reprinting the same kits? I don't know. business decisions, though, undoubtedly. It's kind of what it comes down to. So, all right, there was our first screw. As you can see me screwing that part in there. I didn't make it super duper tight. But it is a screw that is required. Sometimes in certain parts, you don't really have to use the screw. It just kind of makes it a bit tighter. This one, though, was one that you definitely do have to use. So otherwise, this peg would just like fall out of the torso connection there, piece that's connected into. All right. Just putting this together, thinking like, that seems like kind of hollow. I feel like I'm missing a piece, but then I have to remember that it is based on a MG from the year 2000. What was it? 2001. So yeah, the frame is probably going to feel a bit hollow. But that's fine. You know, it's hollow, but it is really nicely detailed. It's from the era that I think a lot of people look back on fondly, where the inner frames were a lot more detailed. And again, for me, that's another point that I really don't care all that much about. So long as the frame is detailed in any area where it's going to show. If it doesn't show, then I don't care if it's detailed or not. Because I'm not ever going to display the kit with the armor off or something. It's kind of fun just like to see all the detail when you're doing the actual assembly, but don't worry too much about it. Anyway, yeah. What was I in the middle of saying? Oh, and yeah, this is from that era where Bandai was putting more kind of, I don't know, I shouldn't say more. They're putting a good amount of detail in the inner frame anyway. And while the inner frame is going to be very basic in its construction, it is going to have a nice amount of details. So, yeah. So how's everybody doing today? Thursday. I'm wondering maybe that's, no? Wondering if that's the wrong part for that. It's not. Let's see. I may just want to put a little bit of glue on that just to make sure that that doesn't go anywhere. Yeah, that's going to be kind of annoying. So, let's see. Actually, maybe not glue. What do I want to do? Yeah, let's see. Maybe. Another reason for you guys to tune in to the live stream tomorrow on the USA Gundam TV channel is that I've got my RG Epion. Yes, the RG Epion that just released. It's all done and painted and everything. I decided I'm gonna just like paint this up right away. So I did. And it's all done. Like I'm just working on, like just earlier today, just finished up the decals and the final top coat, and right now it's like half put together. I'm just like doing the final assembly on it. So after the live stream here, or tomorrow morning, just kind of depending, I'll just finish putting it back together and just have a very simple wood base for it. And I'll show you guys on the live stream tomorrow. I'll show you in like a proper video here on my channel soon, shortly after, if not like also tomorrow later in the day in a posted video. But at least if you guys want to see it sooner than later, you can check out the live stream. I'll show it then at that point too. Yeah, this thruster bell as well, just like the one on the back, seems kind of loose. I think I might end up wanting to put a little bit of glue on this. Might end up gluing a number of parts on here just to be on the safe side. And I can tell some other parts also need to be sanded and everything, so bridges to cross later on. I see our friend Chris Prabs. Yeah, I was watching Guardians of the Galaxy last night, so maybe that's why I had Chris Pratt on the mind. But Chris Pabs is here. What's up, Chris? Let's see. Oh, Siri thinks I'm talking to it. No, Siri, no. still listening. Stop listening. Go away. I see the little thing like moving around. Ah, stop it. No, don't play all songs shuffled. What the fuck? All right. Is it better to clip all the pieces out first? No, it's not better. It's just it's how I choose to build. It's what works for me, for my purposes. And yeah, I just find it to be more efficient. But according to a couple of YouTube commenters, it's very inefficient, in fact, and not the professional way to do it. So I don't know. Don't take my word for it. What do I know? All right. There's that. And so far, we don't have anything new yet. This part is the top of the torso, which is going to be new. So these parts here, including this little white bit of trim like at the front here, this piece, and like the top half of the torso. Seriously. All right. Man. So the top half of the torso there is new. We got that white bit there, and then there's also a couple other white bits that go on to the front right here. These have a specific left and right side? Don't look like it. Oh, let's see. Today's Thursday, isn't it? So that means tonight is the, what's going on with this? Okay. Tonight is, what's it called? Sorry. On Brian's channel. Chris, help me out here. I may join tonight. Let's see, that's Polycap, isn't it? Polycap D. Kodokai. Over there. Robo Dojo, yes. Chris, will you be there? I'm definitely not going to join if Chris is not going to join, so that's my stipulation. Now, I am planning on working on a kit at home tonight. I was working on this kit at home last night, and maybe working on a kit at home again tonight. So if that is the case, I may hop on the live stream with the fellas there, see what's going on. Let's see. All right. Trying to wrap up everything to be able to be there. Yeah, I'm wrapping up that Epion as well, so that I can be there. All right. Hip. There's the middle part of the torso. Then let's see if these thruster belt parts are going to stay on better than the other ones and not need to be glued. Oh, I see that piece fell off. That's nice. Let's see. That piece fell off. We'll put that back on. It seems like pretty tight. I don't know why it fell off, except that the polycap is a little kind of misformed. That could be the reason. But that's not wanting to go on there at all. So like all the ball and socket joints for the thruster rails are all kind of funky. That's unfortunate. What plugs into right there on the back? Curious. So there's a spot right there for something, but I don't know what it is. All right. Let's see. Tried to snip all, clean up, then build. Actually adds extra che. I'm guessing that adds extra che is meant to be adds extra chore, maybe? I don't know. I find it easier to build this way. This is another thing. I've made an entire video on the topic, so feel free to just refer to that. But yeah, I find it easier to build this way because normally if you're going through and like building like one section at a time, you spend a lot of time going back and forth, going to the runners, cutting out all the parts you need, coming back, building, going back to the runners, cutting out the parts you need, cleaning up the parts, putting it together. You spend a lot of time going back and forth, and it's easier to just do like an entire process all at once. So the removal of the parts from the runners, do that process all at once and just put it into a box like this so it's all separated, ready to go. And then the next process is then just going through and cleaning everything up. And then if I'm not live building, I'll build it a section at a time as I'm going through and cleaning up the parts. So like clean up all the parts for the torso and then build it, and clean up all the parts for the waist section and build it. If I'm gonna do a live stream like this, I clean up all the parts and throw them back in the box so that when we come here to do the stream, I can just put it together. Yeah, the fact that... What? Where did one of the thruster belts go? There it is. It's hiding. The fact that these don't want to stay on these ball joints is kind of annoying. Alright. The kit is definitely showing its age from very early on, which is a bit worrying. Doesn't mean at all that it's going to be a bad kit, because you guys know my thoughts on that. But I can already tell it's going to be one that is going to require a little bit more work than just obviously a brand new modern master grade kit. All right, we got these kind of like fins. This is like much later on in the building process that we're supposed to be putting these on, but they're a part of the torso, so we have them here. That's like the last step you do before the weapons, actually. Got these kind of like big rabbit ears off the back, which remind me a lot of the rabbit ears off of that that Reconquista and G kit. It's not the full armor, is it? Of the G self. Is it the full armor G self? That had those big rabbit ear kind of sections. Anyway, this has these. They're more kind of like stabilizers looking there off the back. But yeah, it's black. Interestingly, a lot of times on like black mobile suits, the kit will not actually be molded in black. It'll be like a dark navy or something like that, dark gray. This one is actually black, which is sort of unique. Okay, after that is the head, which is also like kind of every part of this build. It's going to be a mix of new and old parts. Old parts on the inside, and then a couple of new parts for the outside, essentially. So not really the ideal mixture, which is what made the Dodge and Dodge Kai so nice, because they had the new parts for the frame. That said, the Dom Master Grade kit is not a bad kit at all by any means. I think that's a really good example of an older Master Grade that still holds up really, really well. So it didn't really necessarily like, wasn't heavily reliant on the new parts, but the new parts were nice. All right, I'm scared I lose or confuse some parts. Yeah, if you're building like this, that's kind of the one thing that I hear from most people, is that they're scared. They'd be worried about like mixing the parts up if they don't know what number they are. But like, say for example, I mean, the head is not a very good example because it has such few parts. But I mean, like, just looking at the manual, I don't know which of these parts is part number M15 and M16, but I mean, there's only like a dozen parts here to choose from. It's not that difficult to figure out which parts that you need. Did they get rid of the screws in the legs? Not the legs yet, but we have all the screws, and all the frame and the legs is all the same, so I would imagine that no, they didn't change the screws in the legs at all. Sorry to say, I'm guessing that's an issue, and that's why you're asking about it. I'm not aware. I have built the original Master Grade Kampfer, but it was probably a long time ago. Well, let's just say that. It was a long time ago. So I, number one, don't really remember that much about it. I don't remember it being that bad, but again, it was a long time ago, and I didn't really have a whole lot of frame of reference at that time. So I think I've still got the kit around somewhere. We got our little mono eye piece right here, and then this piece to go over the top of that. I broke one of the legs when I built mine. I had to come up with an interesting solution. Yeah. Screws are not great in kits. They're not that bad generally. You just have to be really careful with them. And like I was mentioning earlier, a lot of times, sometimes, you can get away without using the screws at all. So far we've only needed one in the torso, which was absolutely necessary. But as we continue on, we'll see just how many of those there are going to be or not. But yeah, I'm pretty excited to show you guys my painted Kampfer. Pretty happy with how it came out. It was kind of a interesting experiment. And actually, it wasn't like intentional, but it does just so happen to fit. Although it wouldn't be an award-winning entry, or it's not like the best example of a good entry for the contest. But what I ended up doing for it actually would fit the contest. Oh, I forgot to put this part here on. And hopefully, I still can without having to disassemble anything. Yeah, I think so. Little mask piece here on the front. Should be able to go in, because it just kind of like slots right into that little place there. Let's see. There's a very small, fragile piece here, so I just want to be a little bit careful with that. Is it supposed to be like that? I feel like that's kind of sticking out in a weird way, but okay. Okay. So that's there. That's here. We got new parts for like all the top of the head. Very interesting. So I'll show this to you guys closer so you can see the shape of the new head. The new parts for the front are kind of cool. The like line, this design of like this line here on the front reminds me of the GP03. Interestingly, GP03 has a very similar kind of design feature on the front of the head. But yeah, kind of interesting how the top of the head has changed from just being like this kind of rounded dome to this added this extra kind of bit going off the back there. The antenna is also different. It's new. You have all the parts to make the. You should. Let me see. For sure. You have all the parts to make the original antenna if you prefer that. Is what I was gonna say. But I think you should have all the parts to make the full original head if you prefer. Not that you can build both at the same time, but if for whatever reason you preferred the design of the original head, you should have, I believe, all the parts in here to make that. So let me just double check. Yeah. Oh, sorry. I know we're still zoomed in, but there we go. It's looking cool. Like I said, it's showing its age, but yeah, it does look cool. Yeah. Let's see. Part for the front. I think we have all the parts for the original head. We should. Here, this part, which is like the front part with the antenna. I think there's a different part for the top of the head though as well, isn't there? Yeah. I think so. Yeah, this one here. Basically, these couple of parts here. Yeah, so. Okay. How many bots have you built? Oh, quite a few. Hey, I twist polycaps like that too. Yes. That's the way to do it. Although it's very frustrating, isn't it, Ryan, when you get sometimes like most of the polycap runners you can twist them off, but sometimes like the connection's like a little bit bigger and you can't twist it off, or like you could twist it off, but it's gonna like take too much of the plastic off with it, and you end up having to trim it anyway. So at that point, it's kind of like, yeah, okay, I'll just cut these off, I guess. Just want to make a little adjustment here. Okay. Had to get this kit because Kampfer just wished they had updated it. Yeah, I agree, but you know, what can you do? Assuming that we would have got at least some new parts for the frame, then I would say that would have made it more likely that we would see like a 1.5 release similar to the DOM. But I guess that's just not gonna happen. Well, it's not impossible, but it certainly would have been more likely had we gotten more new parts for the frame with this kit. Also, I gotta say, a little bit disappointing the fact that you don't have the parts to make the chain mine with this, which is like the Kampfer's signature weapon. Or like, I don't know, it's got like a couple of signature weapons, doesn't it? Like the shotguns is very unique. And then the chain mine. So, I mean, you have all the parts to make the other weapons, and we actually may as well, I don't know. We'll take a look at those here soon enough, but whoa, almost dropped that. It would have not have been good. Lost polycap. Yeah, it's unfortunate. You have the parts for the ends of the chain mine, so the handle part and then the last mine on the chain, but you don't have the runner for in between there. With all of the actual mines. So that's just a shame. Would have been cool to have it something like with the, what is it? It's the new like figure. It's like a metal robot. It's like a metal robot Damashi. What is it? There's a new Kampfer figure that's coming out that has a new kind of aspect of the design where it has the chain mine in like a case on the back, which looks pretty cool. It's a shame they couldn't do something like that for this release. Yeah, I can see there's a specific way this needs to go on here for some reason. The metal build, is it a metal build? I couldn't remember if it was a full-on metal build or like a metal structure, and it's not metal structure, I know that for sure. Like a metal robot Damashi. Anyway, yeah, it looks cool, but just wish that was an actual kit. But who knows? As it kind of goes with stuff like that, just the fact that it's getting some attention is a good sign. Like if you're wanting a 2.0 of the MG or anything else like that, I mean, the fact that it's getting that means that, I mean, like Bandai has already made the assessment that there is a large enough fan base for them to produce one thing. So, you know, hopefully that means that there's a higher likelihood that they'll produce another thing as well, which in this case, like speaking of like a Master Grade 2.0 or something. All right, here is the, I thought it was elbow joint, and actually it's the shoulder joint, and we have another screw. All right, this is another one though. Yeah, I mean, like you don't need it. It's definitely going to give us some stability. So probably for the best. At least it's only screws with this one. That's good. You don't have the little nuts in there too. Yo, hi there. Have you built Shockwave Transformer YOLO Park? No, I've not. I've not built. Well, I was gonna say I've not built any of those YOLO Park Transformer kits. I think there's only 2 out so far though, Optimus and Shockwave, right? But no, I've not. They look pretty intense. and they look really cool. I'm not that big of a Transformers fan, but I mean, they certainly look like cool model kits. Just want to make sure that's good and tight. It's kind of a difficult piece to hold and screw at the same time. It's like the best parts to hold on to are the parts that kind of move. Okay, it's good and tight enough for the shoulder part. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. There we go. Okay. Hey, let's see. Giovanni, first time joining live. All right, welcome. And Ryan, are you still here, Ryan? Come in. Ryan's, well, I'm just checking if Ryan's still here. Something I wanted to tell Ryan, but I'll tell you guys as a reminder, Ryan's going to be, or he is, one of our guest judges for the contest. Let's see. Joel, what's going on? Fast. Will you review any Armored Core kits if Kotobukiya releases any for Armored Core 6? They just announced last night, or they just released the pre-order for a new release. Is that not for Armored Core 6? I didn't see if it was or not. I saw that it's not a reissue, I guess. I don't believe so. Is it a reissue or not? And if not, is it from Armored Core 6 or not? I don't know. You guys can tell me. But yeah, I saw that. And other than that, I mean, it really just kind of depends on the design. With Armored Core stuff, a lot of it, I just don't really like the designs for a lot of them. Like, they're cool, well enough, like, for in the game. Just they're not really interested in building them, like, as model kits. I'm sorry to say. So, yeah, unless it's a design that I'm into, I probably won't be building it. We have a couple of hand options here. We have this open hand, which is cool, but it's made out of polycap material, which is not cool. And then we have your typical, like, early master grade articulated hand with the 3-in-1 fingers. The first finger is separated, and then the second, third, and fourth are joined together, which is okay. They're also not that great. And the thumb is on a ball joint, which I forgot to put in there. And the other hand option that we have is we do have the option of a fixed closed fist, which is a new part for this kit, which is nice. I wish we would have got like more new hands other than just a closed fist. Like, that's great, but for a kit that has so many weapons to hold, a new like dedicated weapon holding hand would have been really nice. So questionable choice there on the new hand parts. It looks great and I love to see it, but yeah, for as many weapons as this kit has, that also would have been nice to have a new weapon holding hand. Considering that the articulated hand for this doesn't even have a tab in the handle, and like it doesn't even use like a tab to tab into the handles of the weapons, so like, man, oops. Gonna have to have a word with Naoki-san, although I'm sure he's more involved with just the design and probably less involved with the actual production of turning the design into a model kit, as that pretty much probably just falls onto Bandai's production team as to how to do that. And so The hand issue is probably not anything that Naoki had anything to do with, I would imagine, but still unfortunate. Had it been me, I would have pushed for it, but too bad. Fortunately, this might be one of those kits, one of the rare few kits where those Bandai HD Builders parts actually look good on it. Those Builders parts hands look great on their own in terms of just like the amount of detail that they have, but they're usually like too detailed for most kits, and or the size is not correct because they're like really large. Also, they're really nicely detailed, but the open hand, for whatever reason, it's like a really weird pose that the open hand has from that set. Just don't really get it. All right. There's one arm done. And yeah. It's feeling like kind of on par in terms of just like the overall feel of it. Kind of on par or older than like the feeling of building one of those Plum Lanos kits, which is not a good sign. As much as to had happened to MG Zeta Plus P-Bandai version. Is there a P-Bandai version of the MG Zeta Plus? I'm sure there was. There's a Gundam base exclusive of the Zeta for making the Zeta 3. Is there a P-Bandai version of the Zeta Plus? I can't think of it. Although it sounds familiar, like there was like a rollout color version or something like that. Could be mistaken, but yeah, for that arm that we just built, by the way, there's nothing different about the right arm except the new closed fist. Oh yeah, I forgot. We can't build that left arm because I didn't clean up those parts yet. I need to do that still. Oops. Yeah, I forgot. Totally forgot about that. That was the one part, like cleaning up the parts last night. Okay, so maybe we'll come back to that. We'll see how we're doing on time. I was getting all the parts ready last night, and it was late, and I was tired. So I was like, I have just everything was ready except for one of the arms and the weapons. I was like, okay, I'll do that tomorrow, like during the day, just before the live stream, and then completely forgot. So we'll see. We may not actually finish putting the whole kit together in that case, but we can at least put together the waist and the arms for the time being, or the waist and the legs. And if I have enough time, I'll maybe come back. And the weapons, there's nothing new with the weapons at all. They're all completely the same as with the original kit, so there's nothing really too exciting there. And with the arms, at least we built one of the arms. And as I was just about to say there, the only thing new with that arm is just the shoulder and the closed fist hand. With the left arm, however, you do have like a new part for the back of the arm, which I can just show you here, just since I'm on the topic. I'll zoom in. This part here is the part for the back of the arm is new because it holds the Panzerfaust, right? The grenades. It holds them on the back of the arm, so it's like a new dedicated part that has like slots, and there's the pieces that go and like clip onto here for clipping those actually onto the arm, which is kind of cool. I think it could have been like just as well for them to just use the same part for the back of the arm and then just make like it's a part that just kind of like clips onto the back of the arm that holds the grenades on there. But making an actual like dedicated part for it is kind of cool too. So all right. Of all the different things that they could have opted to, upgrade for this kit, I don't know if that would have been the top of my list, but okay. That is cool. And it's not even upgrade, I guess. It's not the right word for that, but anyway, it's one of the new parts that we have. Should not forget this polycap in here. We won't be able to put the waist onto the torso. Is Ryan still here or not? Ryan, I wanted to tell you something. I'm waiting for a response, my man. Could message him later, but I know he was there. He does have a job, so I would imagine he's probably working. Oh, okay, Ryan, you are there. Why aren't you working, for one? What are you doing? But what I wanted to tell you was, I think I told you about this before. I was recommending to you to watch Midnight Diner, and I just want to know if you've watched any at all, because over the last couple of days while I was working on painting the Epion, I had it on. And I finally finished it. There was like there's 2 seasons, and there was like a couple of episodes, like the last couple episodes of season 2 that I had not watched yet. And I finally finished watching those after like rewatching most of the rest of the series. Sorry, I had to head off briefly. Yeah, I figured you're probably working, which is fine, but just harassing you. So I want to know if you've watched that series yet. Anyway, point is, it's really, really good. You guys should all watch it, but it is something I specifically talked to Ryan about before. I know, I'm pretty sure I recommended it to you. I think it was around the time of your Japan trip, probably before your Japan trip, but something to get you in the mood. But now it's probably not a good time to watch it, because now if you haven't yet, because now you're just going to be like feeling like you're missing Japan now. But then again, I'm sure you are already anyway, so we'll check it out, especially when building. Well, I mean, it's all in Japanese. I mean, like, if you can watch a show with subtitles while you're building, then sure. But I mean, I would recommend like maybe not watching it while building. I was, because I've seen it before, and also like my Japanese, I think, is like good enough. I can understand like kind of what's going on. But if you've not seen it before, I mean, like, don't have to take my word for it, but I would recommend watching it like with your full attention. Joel says he loves that show. It's great. It's a really, really good show. So yeah, I would recommend it to all of you guys. It's on Netflix. Midnight Diner. There's, I think, like the original version, and then there's the like a sequel series. Not really like a sequel, but anyway, there's a Netflix original version as well, which has like all the same actors, I believe. The original one I've not watched yet, so it's just the Netflix one that I've watched. And anyway, it's really good. Yeah, if you guys are like into like Japanese culture, or just like want a good show to watch, I mean, it's really cool. But especially if you're into like Japanese culture, there's a lot of really cool Japanese culture in that show, which is like different from what you would see like kind of normally in a lot of stuff, especially if you just watch like a lot of anime and or like Japanese like TV drama and stuff like that. It's a lot of kind of the less what's the word? Not the kind of stuff that you would see in like the tourist brochure for Tokyo. Let's just say that. Can you build the Real Robot Revolution Leisner? It's the same model kit line as the L Game Mark II. Yeah, I'm familiar with the kit. I don't have it, so that'd be the first problem. I would have to have it first, and the second problem would be that I'm just not that big of a fan of the design. So I probably wouldn't want to buy it. If it gets reprinted and I have the opportunity, I'll consider it. Yes. Interesting line that was very short-lived. I think there's only like what 3 kits in the. It's like a R3 line, Real Robot Revolution. So Leisner, the L Game Mark II, and I think there's one more. What's the name of the show again? Yeah, it's Midnight Diner. really cool. Yeah, like I said, I watched most of it previously, and just over the past couple of days, it was basically like watched kind of the whole thing again, including the last couple episodes that I hadn't seen before. And I imagine in the future I'll probably watch it all again, so long as it's still there. But seeing as how, especially the Netflix one, is a Netflix original, I don't think that they'll be getting rid of it. Which is good, because I think they did get rid of the movie. So there was like the old TV series and then the new Netflix series, and then there was also a movie as well that had come out, I don't know, before. And I think like last time I looked, it didn't look like the movie was still on there. How can I get your autograph on my Gunpla next time I visit USA Gundam? Renan. I know a Renan. So I was just checking the last name because I know a Renan, but number one, I don't think that the Renan that I know would be asking that question, and then I don't think that you have the same last name. Anyway, if you want an autograph, yeah, I'm happy to do it. Just when you come to the store, and you're there like in the storefront, just ask. It'd be Josh there most likely, who will be there in the storefront, and you can just ask him. If you just ask him if I'm here, he might say no, because he doesn't like to like bother me with like just any person that comes in, just like asking if they can meet me, and then he has to like call me down to the storefront constantly. I don't know. I don't think it would be constantly, but anyway, from time to time, he usually will just tell people like that I'm busy or that I'm not there or something like that. But just tell him that, tell him I sent you. Tell him if you're in that, not to ask if I'm there, just ask to call me down from my office. Just tell him that I said to do that. And hopefully he'll believe you. I cannot promise that. All right, now I think this is this part. This is where it might be a bit of an issue just with these thruster bells, with cutting out all the parts at once, because there's 3 different thruster bells here on the leg, and each one is different. Each one's different sized, so I have to make sure putting the right parts with the right ones. But yeah, putting the inner part and outer part together is easy, because yeah, they're each different size, but just figuring out which one goes where could be more difficult, but so far it's all right. You said we never got a normal L game. Yeah, yeah, indeed. Did get that P-Bandai, but it was a P-Bandai HG, wasn't it? The HG L game kit. Don't know why that was a premium Bandai kit, but if I remember correctly, I think that was what happened with that, which was kind of strange. Or was it was it that it was that the L game was the regular release and the Mark II was the P-Bandai? It's either that or I have it backwards. I think that's right, though. I think the Mark II was the P-Bandai. Which is kind of okay, seeing as how the R3 version is a standard release. So like, if you really want an L game Mark II, you can get the standard release one. You don't have to go for the P-Bandai version. That's not right. That's right. And then hello. All right. Okay. Very interesting. Easier said than done getting some of these parts together when they don't really want to stay together very well until the assembly is all done. It's like this here and this here. I'm gonna have to do a kind of bit of balancing act to hold these parts together. And just making sure I don't forget anything in the in-between time. There we go. All right. It says there will be a gap. Okay. All right. This is a new frame or the same frame. And the kit just I can't read. Revan, it is the frame is all the same. There's like a couple of new parts. Like I think this part for like the top of the foot, I think was new. Yeah, I think so. But for the most part, the frame is all not new. Yeah, right, including the screws. Yep. Okay. Anyway, as we were saying, speaking of screws, got a couple coming up right now. So we've got this part like that, and then this one over the top, and then this one here at the bottom, and 2 screws. So while I'm screwing this, anybody else have any other questions about either the build thus far or how to make better life choices, or anything? Anybody have any questions? Here's the issue. I hate the Strike Freedom, but the MGX looks great. I love the unicorn, but the LEDs are keeping me from buying it. Yeah, I totally understand. It would be nice if Bandai were to make a version of the MGEX that did not have the LEDs, just for people like you who don't want to pay that extreme price, because so much of that price you're basically just paying for the LED system. But I would bet almost anything that that's just not going to happen. I know a lot of people are like, I think like a lot of people now are, it's been out for long enough that people have figured it out that it's not going to happen. But especially like when it first came out, I saw like constantly from people online saying that they were hoping and or waiting for Bandai to make a version of the MGEX without the LEDs, and like that's not going to happen. That's like the whole point of the kit. The whole point of it being a MGEX. I mean, they could release it as just like a MG 2.0, and it's just essentially the MGEX minus the LEDs, but they're not going to. That just like that takes away from the MGEX, and the whole point of the MGEX is that it has the LEDs. So, I mean, yeah, it was great. Like what they did with the PG Exia, making that as the LED set and the Gundam sold separately. There's pros and cons, but the good thing was that if you didn't want to spend the extra money for the LEDs, you didn't have to. The bad thing is that they don't reproduce them. I think they generally reproduce them at the same time, but not always. So like sometimes the kit will be reproduced, but like if you wanted to get the kit and you also wanted to get the LEDs, like you may be able to get the kit, but you can't get the LED set because it didn't get reprinted, didn't get reproduced. So yeah, I don't know. MGF. M. On a Destiny 2.0, Legend 2.0, we don't even have a Legend 1.0 MG, so we'd have to get that first, I would imagine. Alright, let's see. Got a bunch of polycaps here going in for the leg, so just gonna make sure I'm putting these all in the right way. Everything's going in there. And that too, but I'm gonna wait on that. Could be to my detriment, but let's see. Oh, all right. Oof, was a little tight. All right. Need to rhyme on you there. Okay. Might get a Ari Bawu for the rifle and shield for my Schwer. That would be cool. Yeah. It's not like this kit doesn't come with enough weapons, but yeah, if you wanted something a little different. Just the fact that, yeah, it doesn't come with any new weapons. Taking a weapon from something else could be cool, yeah. Alright, now the issue with this part is that I could already tell that this yellow piece was not wanting to fit in here properly. Oh, well, it didn't a second ago, but now it does. Okay. Fair enough. That's for that. More polycaps. And it's got like PC 122 is like the largest polycap runner. I think we're going to use almost all of them. Let's see how many are going to be left over. No, there's going to be like a third left over. So we're going to use about 2/3 of all of those polycaps. Let's see. Do you have plans to customize it in any way? For this kit, no, not at the moment. But I also didn't have plans for the Epion at the moment when I was building it, and I just kind of decided on the spot, like, oh, I'm gonna custom paint this kit, I think. So I don't know. Once I get through putting it together, you know, if what is it? Inspiration strikes? Is that the right? It doesn't sound right, but you guys get what I mean. I don't know. If I'm feeling inspired, I may decide to, but it's not likely that I'm gonna just, because I know myself, just being honest and saying that I don't anticipate that situation to happen with this, just because I got a lot of other stuff that's like on the to-do list. I was supposed to be this week, I was supposed to be working on painting the Teco Toys stuff, which I got all primed and everything's all ready to paint, and I just bumped that once again so that I could get the Epion done and painted. And for a couple of reasons. Part of the reason why I wanted to do that with the Epion was to show off the decals that we got, because we got some like waterside decal sets here, like here at USA Gundam Store. Kind of interestingly, the decals that we got for that kit arrived before the kit itself has arrived. So the kit hasn't arrived yet from Bandai, but we have all the decals. So I wanted to, there's a nub in there I can see that I missed. 2 actually. How did that happen? All right. Both sides of the same nub on both sides of the knee joint. Yeah, I wanted to try out the water slides for that kit, and so that was part of the reason why I wanted to build and paint it. And so I was choosing the custom color scheme with the decals in mind, because the colors of the decals are kind of like gray rather than being like white, or decals are usually not ever black. They're usually like just like a dark gray. And because the decals are like a lighter gray color, I was trying to keep that in mind, like in choosing the colors for the kit. And it ended up being that the colors that I painted it in, it's like very close to the color of what the decal looks like once you actually put the decal on the kit. So I started like putting a couple of the first decals on. I'm like, you can barely see the decal because the color is so close. So I'm like, all right, well, shit, I guess I can't use those decals then. So that went out the window. I was able to use a few of them from that sheet, just because I was able to use them on like some of the darker areas, darker parts. So I had to choose something else for the decals. I ended up using, most of the decals that I used then are actually for the RG New Gundam. But like I said, I'll show you guys tomorrow. So yeah, just the first leg's done. Anything that's new about the leg is just the knee part, the part for the front armor piece, like front ankle armor piece there, the foot, and this part like attached on here to the side. Otherwise, that's it. So Yeah, got some cool new shapes going on there, mix of old and new. I did a Fee Teco Toys print. They're amazing. Yeah, they're really cool. So I'm looking forward to building those. Like I said, I have everything. It's all here. Everything's primed, also in black, so it's gonna be hard to see. But I think they look really cool, just like in black. I think that's one of the reasons why I didn't feel too bad about postponing painting them, just because I'm enjoying having them here in my office, just looking cool all in black like that. But yeah, gotta paint those. I need to go over, do some like more black painting first, just because I just sprayed everything without like disassembling, so there's probably like some like nooks and crannies here and there that don't have any black primer on it yet. So just to make sure that everything's all filled in with that nice black base first, you need to go through and probably do some black touch up first, and then get on with the painting. And not going to do like a super duper highly detailed painting on them either, which I feel a bit sorry for. Sorry to not like, I feel like it's not giving my 100% by not doing like a really highly detailed, because they're really detailed kits, and you could do like really super detailed painting on them. But I'm gonna do a kind of a more basic, simple paint scheme on them. There's a mix. There's like 5, 1, 2, 3, 4 like smaller figures, 2 exosuits, which is like a figure inside of a larger exosuit, and then the main like large suit itself. So there's a lot of stuff there. So I don't feel too bad, because like if I were to like really super like detail paint every part, it would take forever. It would take a lot longer than I have to spare, unfortunately, for that. But anyway, they'll look good regardless. Like I said, they already look really cool just being all in black there. So let's get this other leg done, and then like I said, that's unfortunately all that I have prepared, which is only missing out on the one arm and the weapons. The arm's the same, and the weapons are the same as with the original kit. So like I said, there's nothing really missing. Can't wait to get those decals with the Epion. Yeah. So I was just saying about the decal for the Epion a minute ago. The decals for the RG Epion are free if you pre-order the kit here, like at USA Gundam Store. So like if you have the kit pre-ordered already, or if you want to pre-order the kit, then yeah, you'll get the waterside decals included with that. And I believe it's like not only necessarily if you pre-order, but like later once we actually get the kit in stock, I believe it might be like a while supplies last kind of situation. Like if you want to wait until the kit actually arrives and then order, if you do want to get the free decals, it might be like just first come first serve. But I would have to double check to be 100% certain on that. So don't take my word for it. If you want the decals, then just pre-order the kit, and then you'll be guaranteed. All right. How bad was the nub cleanup? Jeremy asks. I'm guessing you're asking because it's all black, so you're worried about that. But it was fine, really. Actually, I don't generally really worry too much about that. But I was just kind of worried about it, just in the sense that just means it kind of takes me more time to prepare all the parts, because I have to be like a bit more careful with it to not have like a bunch of stress marks all over the place. And yeah, it really wasn't that bad at all. So I was kind of pleasantly surprised as I was building it, because I did have that in mind. I was thinking like, oh shoot, this kit's gonna be a pain, because it's gonna take me like twice as long, because I'm gonna have to deal with all these stress marks and or building the kit super carefully to avoid that. But no, it wasn't bad. I mean, that said, you do that. I was conscious of it and was being a little careful because of that. But it wasn't bad at all. So, it's missing a hole here. There we go. Yeah, this part's kind of annoying. Which is the part for the thigh, just because it's kind of have to, one of those sections where you have to do a bit of a balancing act putting it together. I swear this thing looks almost like an armored core. Sort of. Kind of, yeah. I can see that. All right, now for the screw part for the legs. That part's up, this part's down. Do you know if the black or gold versions of the RG's Sotheby's decals look any good? Also, if you have any opinions of the FF version of the kit. What's the FF version of the kit? I'm not sure. Vast, to answer your question about the black or gold decals, I was actually just looking at those because while I was looking for my decals to use for the Sotheby, or for the Epion, I was looking at those. I have both the black and gold versions of the Sotheby decals here. And I was thinking, like, how the black decals look super cool, like just on the decal sheet, but I don't know when I would ever have an opportunity. I don't know what kind of color scheme I would do to have an opportunity to actually use black decals. But yeah, they do look really good. Oh, so here I'll show it to you so you can see. Let me hang on, let me play with the camera a little bit here. Zoom out a little bit. And they're gonna look really similar just for you guys at the moment, but let me see it once they're zoomed in. So like I said, decals generally are not usually black. They're usually just like a dark gray, but these are like really black and like a gloss black too. So they look really cool. But like I said, I'm not sure what kind of color scheme I would do that like gloss black decals would look good on, but they do look really cool. And then here's the gold ones, which are like really glossy and reflective, as you can see. So it's kind of hard to tell. I know for you guys here on camera, here you can kind of see that they are gold, just kind of depending on how they catch the light. So I mean, they are really interesting looking. But yeah, you have to have a pretty stylistic color scheme in mind that those work on. The gold ones would look really good on just like if you're just doing like a high gloss red Sotheby for sure. But I mean, those do look really cool. Primer gray or gunmetal with black decals. Primer gray. Yeah. Or gunmetal. Gunmetal with black. I'm not sure how well they would show up on gunmetal. But I mean, like, I don't know. Just like an off-white. I mean, it would be super contrasty. It'd be very like stylistic, but it could look kind of cool. Other than that, what else? I don't know. It would look good. Those black decals. It was like a dark gray, maybe, kind of, because of how rich black those are. You would actually be able to see those decals against like a darker gray color. Normally, if you're using like a darker gray color for your armor, then you would have to use lighter waterside decals, like white or light gray or something like that, because dark decals wouldn't show up. But it would be kind of cool. And you could use dark decals because those ones would be super dark, even darker than your dark. Now, like on something like this, they wouldn't show at all. It would not be good, but you could do just like a dark gray kind of color, and then those black ones would look kind of cool on there. could work well if you wanted to do like what is it called, like night camo, but what's the word, low visibility, like a low visibility version. Could look kind of cool. It's actually a really good idea. Now you guys got me thinking about it. Maybe like a white paint scheme with the black tees. Yeah, that's what I was saying. It would be very stylistic, but it'd be interesting. So yeah, so far the other screws, it seems like even if you wanted to over tighten them, you couldn't. But these ones in the knee, you definitely could over tighten if you're not careful. So I'm being kind of careful to tighten them, like so that it's not like too floppy, but not too tight, because that's where you're going to break plastic. If you're over tightening these and then you try to bend the knee, it's just going to break this part, which I think is probably what you guys were talking about earlier. Okay, so this is okay. This part right here. Does this one rescue some of the old MG Kampfer runners or totally new ones? Yeah, I think. Oh, reuse. Sorry, I don't know why I can't read. Yeah. So as we've been talking about, if you guys are coming in later, yeah, pretty much the majority of the frame, like 98% of the frame, is all original, and really the only couple of parts that are new to the frame are very inconsequential, as in like they're just there for aesthetic changes to the design. Nothing that's like anything that's actually like a part of the structure of the frame is not different. So I know it's unfortunate, but okay, that's there. This one's here, and this one here. All right. First name, last name. What is it? First name, last name. Does okay? Yeah. Yeah, just new parts for the armor, basically. Yep. The armor taste, they look a little. If you're talking about the decals looking a little ridiculous, yeah, I can totally understand. I mean, like either the black or the gold. I mean, they're very stylistic, so you would have to have a pretty unique idea in mind for something that's going to look like very ornamental, kind of. Which, like I said, I'm sure it could be cool. Just kind of depends on how you ultimately go about using them. There's like a small handful of ways that those black or gold decals could look really cool, and there's a lot of ways that they could look really bad. So just have to have a good idea in mind and a good eye for colors. Very anxious to get my Epion all put together though, so I'll give you guys a little sneak peek here at the end of the stream. This will be done, kind of. Where's that part? I was meant to do 2 of those. Yeah. Kind of almost just about done with everything that I can build here at the moment. Like I said, so unfortunately I don't have the other arm or the weapons prepared. Rather than just spending stream time just removing the nubs on those parts, which I think would be very uninteresting, I will just show you guys everything that we have so far, and then can check out the rest later. But let's see. Let me just first. Oops. Get this. Yeah, and then show you guys how the Epion's looking. It's a great looking. I mean, just the kit in general. I'm not saying about my my custom painted one. I mean, you guys can let me know what you guys think about that. But it's the kit in general. It's a really good looking kit. And I think, as you know, it's not too often that I'll just like immediately paint a kit just like right after building and reviewing it. It happens from time to time, and it's usually only on kits that are just like really nice, and usually also ones that lend themselves well to be painted kind of easily, as in like they don't take a bunch of seam line removal work and like prep work ahead of time in order to paint, so that if it's something that I'm like just kind of in the spur of the moment just going to decide, okay, I'm going to paint this, it's usually on stuff that like it's easier to paint. And so the RG Epion definitely fits that. It's like with most RGs, they usually don't have a whole lot of like seam line removal and stuff to do. So all right, so that is going to be it for right now. Here's just a look at that. Really cool new parts for it. The Kampfer is one that a lot of people will say needs a 2.0, and I was kind of on the fence about that, just like I said, because I built it a long time ago, and I didn't think the kit was that bad. Having now rebuilt it, I will say that I do tend to agree more with those people who think that it needs a 2.0. Now, having kind of built it again, it's kind of refreshed my memory on it. It's not as nice as the DOM. Like the 1.0 DOM would certainly benefit from a 2.0, although I just didn't think that it doesn't need a 2.0 as bad as this one does. But yeah, certainly at least a 1.5 or a 2.0 of the Kampfer would be a nice improvement over it. It's not bad, and like proportionally and details, I think it's kind of okay. I mean, like obviously a lot of the new parts are much more detailed than the older parts. The older parts are pretty low on details, so maybe like some more detail would be nice. But just in terms of like the proportions and the kind of overall design of the original kit, I think don't look too bad. But it's just mostly in the construction that it would just be much nicer. But love the look of it from the back with all those yellow thruster bells. I like the yellow accents look really cool. Whereas like on the front, I mean, you see so much less of that. You see like these white accents on there, which are new. Pretty much anything white that you can see on here is all a new part. But yeah, looks very cool. So I'm gonna have to finish that later, and I'll show that to you guys. But let me show you this. A little sneaky peek here, and I'll show you guys the full thing tomorrow. So check out the live stream on the USA Gundam TV channel tomorrow, and I'll show you guys the finished build. You can see just how small it is. Man, it's been a while since I've built and painted an RG kit, I feel like, and especially this one's smaller, being like a wing design, smaller than like the Sazabi or something, which I think was the last RG that I painted. And yeah, those tiny parts, and especially tiny decals, they're a struggle. So yeah, I'll show you guys what the full thing looks like tomorrow. The color scheme, obviously, as you may be able to tell, is based off of the Shinanju Stein. So that's why I was saying it kind of fits in with the current contest theme in that way. But it's just a color swap, so not really that good. It wouldn't win the contest, but it fits within the contest, as in like I think I made it look a bit more UC just by simply basing the color scheme off of the Shinanju Stein, but it's like hardly making it look more UC. Anyway, so just need to finish getting that on the base and then finish putting the rest of the assembly together. And yeah, all right, so that's it for today. Thanks for hanging out, guys. I will finish the Kampfer, and probably, well, the review will be coming soon. I'm not gonna say tomorrow, maybe tomorrow, but definitely tomorrow will be the live stream. Adam and I will be live USA Gundam TV, so yeah, check that out. I'll show you guys the Epium. I'll show you guys the Kampfer, and we'll be giving away this guy. Hoi! The MG Power to Gym. So I've not posted that for you guys to comment on and enter to win the giveaway yet. I'm going to do that right now after we wrap this up. So look for that post on Instagram, Facebook, and the YouTube community tab. Are we going to dress up? I thought about that, but I just don't have anything. I'll see if I have something that I can wear to dress up. Maybe. Anyway, okay. But for now, that's going to be it for today, guys. So stay tuned, look for that post, and just thank you guys all so much for all of your support and patience, especially. So yeah, I'll see you guys later. Have a good rest of the day. See you tomorrow. Bye, guys.